It's time to dad.
Hey now. All right. Welcome in, guys. Welcome to Time to Dad. Nobody was talking, so I guess I'm doing two intros in a row. You know that because you were listening at exactly this time 1 week ago. But to our thousands of listeners around the world, this is a dad podcast where we talk about dad topics. I'm joined by JT and Nick. A little bit of a sensitive talk. We try to avoid sensitive topics because we got dads from all over the country and we just kind of chill and keep it pretty loose here. But we're going to go a little extra, but we do have a disclaimer. We did pay full freight for a celebrity to come in and do our disclaimer for the episode. So we're going to put it on, but we're going to talk a little bit about gun safety, and hopefully it gets some dads going in the right direction in terms of the conversation. And hopefully we don't no longer have a show after this episode. So let's see. Let's have Snoop tell us about it here.
Before we get started, we want to acknowledge that today's conversation on safety. We know this can be a sensitive and emotional topic, and it may not be right for younger listeners. Our goal is not to debate politics or push an agenda. This is about fatherhood, responsibility, and keeping our kids safe. Every dad comes from a different background, whether you grew up around firearms, own them today, or don't at all. What we share in this episode are our personal experiences and thoughts as fathers. Please listen with an open mind. And as always, take what's helpful for your family. Before we get...
All right. Thanks.
Thank you for the grand introduction, Snoop.
You read copy like you wouldn't believe.
Snoop Dogg.
Wouldn't believe how much like you have to smoke him up to get him to do a quick read for your show. But I mean, yeah. I mean, we could dive right in. Anybody got some thoughts on guns? I mean, I'll just say it bluntly. I mean, I don't know how else to get into this episode. Yeah. I know right now it's a little it's a touchy thing because there's a lot of shootings in the United States and they just go up and up in different cities and different areas. But that's kind of the cost of having a very freedom-based theory around the right to bear arms, because it is like a God-given right from the Constitution in that sense. And I think a lot of people could agree with that if it's the way it was written. So that's the cost of having guns, is that people, I mean, that's how I kind of feel. We can't make it stop, even if we changed something drastic.
Well, the important thing to remember is a firearm or a gun is a tool.
Right.
Much of it depends on the user. The unfortunate reality is there's evil out there. We can only control ourselves and our own actions and how we choose to protect our families. I'm going to say I'm a full supporter in somebody carrying firearms. It's your divine right to protect yourself from threats, foreign and domestic, whether that be your government, somebody trying to impede on your own rights. And obviously, if you have firearms in the home, we want you to be safe around yourself, your spouse, and your kids. The biggest thing is in my personal experience, the way to mitigate firearm accidents where children are involved is to start them young, expose them, make them understand what they're looking at, what they're holding, remove the mystery from it all. It's inherent in humans that we're all curious creatures. We want to explore the unknown, and to a child, in most circumstances, firearms are mysterious. Yeah. We all try to protect them from them and keep them away from them.
I wish Joe was here for the mystery episode. I mean, he's all about the pigs. He does paper rectangle stuff. Like, I feel like he should have been here for the mystical, thing.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I just, that's just something I firmly believe is, if you just make your child understand the ramifications that come with pulling a trigger, whether they're hunting with you or they're using it in a form of self-defense. Just make them understand that when they pull the trigger, no matter what they're aiming at, they're liable to, they could change the course of their life.
Yeah.
So and children are a lot smarter than people give them credit for, even when they're young.
They understand danger.
You're yeah. So
Self-preservation.
You want to prepare them. You want to prepare them, and the best way to do that is to make them aware that firearms are used as a tool, and you can use it for good or bad.
I'll go a step further and say, we're talking about guns in the dangerous sense, the object that can easily reach out and touch somebody and take their life. But you talk about starting them early. For me, that started with, Emerson is not aware that I have a firearm in the house because I don't personally. He's not around them enough to understand it yet. But it started. For me, it started with Nerf guns, right? I've taught him since the day he was old enough to cock a Nerf gun back and shoot it that you don't point it at anything you're not intending to shoot at. You don't point it at people's faces. You don't point it at your face. And I've taught him gun safety even with his toy guns. Because there will come a day when I introduce him to firearms, because it's like you said, it's an American right in the United States to own a fire alarm, unless you lived somewhere where that right's been taken away through whatever means, or if you're a criminal. But yeah, for me, it just starts with taking even silly things that our kids see as toys and starting to teach them that. While a Nerf gun is not likely to take somebody's life, it is still a serious matter to be responsible when you have any sort of gun in your hands. And I think that also, that goes with the video games that kids play. Kids play shooting games all day, every day, bloody, gory games, and you're blowing people up, and that's fun to them, right? But if nobody ever takes the time to explain to them, like, yeah, this is a fun game, but in reality, a firearm will take your life. It will hurt you, kill you. There's some bad shit that can happen if it's used improperly. Oh, are you muted?
Yeah.
I didn't hear what.
Am I muted?
No, Jason talked, or JT talked, but I didn't hear him.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, he's gone.
Hold on.
I was saying that there's no respawn. There's no second try. Me myself, I mean, I don't really worry about the whole video game aspect of it all right now. But I have asked my family and friends. It's like I don't really want Jasper playing with toy guns. Just because I don't want him under the impression that the guns are toy. I plan to let him hold a firearm as early as 5 or 6. Just at least let him see it, put his hands on it. Obviously with supervised, but I want him to understand and feel what to see what it is. That way, it's just nothing new to him. Whenever that time comes, I don't want him to be frightened of them. Much like a hammer, like I've said, it's a tool. Much of it just depends on the intent of the user
entirely.
So I just don't want him being under the impression the guns are tool. So that's why I've kind of kept away from the idea of letting him play with toy guns, at least right now.
I get that.
I can see that. I think toy guns are a good topic, honestly. Like for kids, I don't like it. I don't like when older kids will come and like simulate it, or they play with guns, and my kids are like, they really are too young for it, but they're learning it at preschool, whatever, like the play gun thing. I think that there's definitely harm there in the mental connection, but I mean, I get it. Like,
I don't mind it if it's
everyone wants to be an action hero. I know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't mind if it's something blatantly, obviously, that's not meant to mimic a real firearm, like a a blue and gray Nerf gun is not meant to mimic. I have a problem with the toy guns that are, and I shouldn't, because when I was growing up, I mean, you guys too, I'm sure cap guns were big.
Yeah.
You know, but I just don't like, you know, all the airsoft guns that kids play with that, you know, mimic like submachine guns and pistols and sniper rifles and things like that. Those bother me a little bit. I don't mind if it's blatantly obvious that it's a toy, something to have fun with, versus something that's mimicking a real firearm. That kind of annoys me. But I mean, I see both parents, you know, sides arguments. The parents that are strictly against firearms and, you know, don't even want you to, you know, you got to spell the word out around their kids because they don't even want their kids to hear it, kind of thing. But I don't know. My biggest thing for me is that I don't care if you own them. I mean, and that's influenced by the fact that I do, but you know, as long as you're responsible with it, if I know my kids at your house that your stuff's in a safe, it's in, you know, a biometric box, whatever the fuck you keep it in, as long as you know, I know some parents are like, well, we just, you know, I keep it wherever because my kid knows what it is. My kid knows how to handle it. They're safe with it. That's fine and dandy. But when you've got, you know, not necessarily strangers in your home, but other people who, you know, other people and other kids who are not likely not as highly educated as your child may be, you just got to be safe with it and make sure, you know, you're locking the bedroom door. You've got it in your gun safe or stored away somewhere safe where somebody can't accidentally, you know, get access to it.
Gun safety.
Well,
Gun safety. Man, I thought Joe said gun safety. I've been keeping packs of Big League Chew locked up from the kids for years. Hold up. This ain't the Nerf episode. Somebody tell my kids to quit loading marshmallows in the super soaker. Y'all talking about locking it up. Shoot, I can't even lock down the remote in my own house.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, God. but no, yeah, no, I'll always encourage you as a gun owner to be responsible. You know, in many states, if there is an incident with one of your firearms, if you fail to store it safely, then you yourself are subject to criminal penalties. Yeah. So that's something to think about. And where small children are involved, I suppose I can support that because that kind of encourages the gun owners themselves to take better care of their firearms. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is we all most people are under the impression that by, you know, whenever they are taking their kids, they just shelter them from them altogether. Yeah. And I like I said previously, is whenever you make something mysterious, keep it. You know, kids are curious. They want to know what a certain thing is, and so if you expose them early, and just lead them to understand the consequences, like you said, make sure they know what they're pointing at. Whenever they do point it at somebody, they better have the intent to pull the trigger. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. But you know, I can say, and this will be as political as I can go for the sake of the episode, is that, you know, we hear about all these crimes and gun violence issues. Just remember, you know, while people are using guns to hurt people, 9 chances out of 10, those acts of violence are stopped by a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
So that's just something to think about. You know, whether it be a law enforcement, another citizen, there are well over 3 million documented uses of self-defense in firearms, but all you see is all the bad stuff. So it's just something to think about.
The only thing scarier than an unsafe gun is stepping on a Lego barefoot. That's danger, nephew. Safety first, baby. Guns bikes,
No,
scooters, even them Hot Wheels tracks. Dad's got to keep it all in check.
no more Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg.
Thanks, Uncle Snoopy.
I'll go back to Toots.
I'll
Don't make
tell
me go
you
back to
what.
Toots.
I'll tell you what bothers me. I know we're talking about kids and keeping guns safe, but what bothers me is when somebody just goes out and buys one, and it just sits in that closet, wherever the fuck it is that they keep it. And they've never bothered. They've never gone to the range with it. They've never loaded it, never shot it. They may have shot a gun, 20 years ago when they were younger with some buddies. You hear a lot about, if you do research on gun safety and stand your ground laws and protecting your family and your household, there have been a lot of people that own a firearm, don't know how to fucking use it, and have had that firearm turned on them by an intruder or someone trying to do harm on them. If you're gonna be a gun owner, then you need to be going to the range, or you need to be going somewhere to get some form of basic instruction on how to use your firearm, how to clean it, maintain it. A lot of people that are first time gun owners that are like, I know during COVID, there was a huge rush on firearms and ammo, and everybody and their grandmother was buying one. People who had never thought of owning a gun bought one. And you really need to know how to use it. And a lot of times when there's a run on firearms like that, people are buying the cheapest thing that they can afford, and what comes along with that, right? You get malfunctions, and people don't know what the fuck they're doing with a firearm, and the gun owners themselves don't even know how to be safe with it. I can't tell you how many firearm videos I've seen of people when I was looking for my pistol. I was just looking at reviews of the firearms I was interested in, and I can't tell you how many just basic firearm safety rules were violated in those videos by the people that own the firearm. And you have to, part of being a responsible gun owner is knowing how to be safe with it, how to take care of it, how to use it. And a lot of people aren't doing that, man. And every gun range out there offers some sort of 75, 80, 100, whatever it is, some sort of basic firearm safety course. And you don't even need to own a firearm to take those courses. They will give you a range loaner to take those courses. And it just kind of blows my mind how few people take those courses. But yet here they are with a gun in their home, thinking that their family is better off or safer because they have it. And the reality of the situation for people like that is they have no fucking clue how to use the gun. No clue. And that's what scares me, is the guns that are just in people's houses, just sitting there. They may not even remember they fucking bought the thing. It's been so long since they put it away. And that's the kind of household that scares me. I'm not worried about the JTs with a military background that is very, very aware that a firearm can take a life if that's your intent with it. It's the average Joe that has never, has no military background, no experience with firearms, no hunting background, that owns a firearm. Because I don't think they take the seriousness of a firearm as serious as they should.
A lot of that can relate to lazy parenting or lazy parenting. If you yourself are poor at maintaining and being responsible with your firearms, what makes you think your child's in a position to be any more responsible?
Yeah.
Obviously, firearms are a tool. And this is a tool that you should be well versed in. It should be something that you should.
Yeah.
It is part of.
It's not a DIY project you just take on because everybody's doing it.
Right. You should be to be considered a responsible firearm owner. You should be proactively practicing with it. So just knowing your firearm is the most important aspect of it all. It's know how it shoots, know how much it weighs, whenever it's fully loaded. And all of that is stuff that you can learn over time after, regular use.
Yeah.
Learning how to clean it and break it down safely, and, letting your kids watch while you're cleaning.
Yeah. All that.
Letting them, again, supervise, let them learn what a loaded gun feels like. Teach them trigger discipline. I think that's I think that's something most adults fail in, is trigger discipline.
Yeah. Dude, I can't tell you how many times that scared the shit out of me at an indoor range. Is
I mean, they
you catch somebody out of the corner of your eye.
For that.
They what?
For dads, I mean, that's like one of the biggest issues of our time. They got pills for that. If you're trigger, you're quick with the trigger, man. We're back to the gun. I'm sorry. Yeah, right.
Basing cocaine, for that goes, I don't.
You don't want to do cocaine while you're
I take a drink. Every now and then I'll have a drink, and I will smoke a little bit. I'll do it now. I'll do a little too. If somebody give it to me, offers it to me. I mean, you just am polite.
But no, I genuinely believe that there are responsible firearm owners, and then there are people that have no business owning firearms. But I'm not against anybody learning how to care for one, learning how to use one properly.
Yeah.
And that includes children. So, like I said, my wife, she's a little bit more leery about it, but she's coming around.
She probably has a fear, and fear of a firearm is a very healthy and real thing. You should have that, right?
Well, it's not fear of the firearm; it's fear of the one who's holding.
Well, but not in your household. I don't think she fears you. Well,
no, you're right. But I don't think it's the fear of the firearm itself. And anybody that fears the firearm itself, you always hear on news stories that, guns are killing people, gun violence. No, I'm sorry, it's violence committed by people with guns. So I don't like to necessarily categorize something as gun violence, because that characterizes it incorrectly, and a lot of people that don't know much about firearms, that creates a fear.
Well, I mean, the political agenda behind it's that's like a whole nother episode as far as how you look at it, right? I mean, I 100% agree. It's the person behind the firearm. It's not shooting itself. It's not aiming itself. It's not loading itself. It's not walking to the fucking store on two legs and buying itself. I agree with all that. But the problem is you've got states that have very strict gun laws, right? And then you've got states where anybody can walk in and walk out with a firearm in the same day. No, you can do that here.
So let's lay the whole myth to rest. Okay, if you go in to buy a firearm, you are undergoing a federal background.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, there's straw man purchases. Yeah, people will go in and buy a firearm for a buddy that may not be able to go in there and get it and walk out of there. So I can walk in and walk out the same day with a firearm, but that is because I have a relatively squeaky clean criminal history. I don't have much of one. So whenever they go do my federal background check, I don't get any dings. So I'm allowed to walk out of there with my firearm.
Yeah. But it only takes one ding after you purchase it.
You're not walking out of there legally. I'm sorry?
I said it only takes one ding after somebody purchases it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I don't necessarily, I'm not saying every state needs to be one of those states where you got like a 7-day waiting period and all that stuff. I do think it's a little weird if you get all huffy that you got to wait to get your firearm. But at the same time, I understand it. It's one of your constitutional rights to bear arms. So it's just, is that Jason breathing? I can't hear him.
I don't think so.
No, you were breathing.
Yeah,
heavy,
you were thinking, man. I heard the mouse wheel going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just varies. It varies by state.
What are your thoughts, Jason? I mean, are you versed in firearms to any degree?
I think it's an interesting perspective because sure, like I moved to a small town. My dad was a correctional officer. I'm familiar with firearms. I've been shooting at private clubs where I didn't even need to have my license to carry to actually shoot a gun because it was private property. If it was somebody else and they were supervising, so I mean, I've shot guns. I actually went and did the safety course, and I have my LTC, but it kind of came along the same time that I had my kids, and I mean, somewhat out of fear, but also just out of principle. I haven't, and out of poorness, I haven't actually invested and bought the firearm to have in the house because it's just like a mental. It's different now that that the kids are actually here with us and in the house. It's very I think it's for someone who was not raised with a hunting background. My dad did use a firearm at work, but it wasn't something that we shared as like a hunter. Little different dynamic. I think I have Hollywoodized gun safety. Like I think of like the dramatic aspects of it, whether it's Dead Poets Society or something. Like there's a gun safety vibe that is misconstrued and it's created chaos with other parts of the country and places where they don't have the strictest rules with who can have what and where.
I think there's something to think about. If you look statistically, most of these crimes that are committed with a firearm are committed in areas in gun-free zones.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
it can go both ways, right?
Well, no, it can, but again, no matter where you're at, somebody in the act of committing a crime with a firearm.
What do you mean by like a gun-free? So like schools, you mean? Like yes, those are gun-free. So that's
schools, churches. I mean, and heck, here in Texas, we have some churches where the deacons might be carrying a firearm. But I mean, in typically most gun-free zones, hospitals, there's a lot of crimes committed in gun-free zones. And me personally, I think whether it be male or female, you don't know what somebody breaking into your home.
You don't know what's what nowadays.
Right. So wrong. At nighttime, you have somebody breaking. You don't know
shit. There we go.
What somebody breaking into your home has. So look at it like the great equalizer.
Could have penis. Could have something we never heard of.
I mean, but no, I'm just saying it's like, all right. So me myself, I would feel like I failed as a father if I did not use whatever means necessary to attempt to try to protect my family. That includes firearms. If I have the means, if I have the ability to do so, I'm going to do whatever necessary to protect my family. So that's just if you're not well versed or knowledgeable in firearms, I'll encourage you to do so. Just because you should and you do have the divine right to protect yourself. So
yeah, you don't have to own one to go to a range and rent a firearm and fire it. And there's range masters there that will help you. There's beginner courses that includes the rental of a firearm for people that don't own them. I mean, there are so many ways to educate yourself and use one. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that or just haven't looked into it. But yeah, it's an uninformed, untrained gun owner that scares me the most. And and I think a lot of these shootings that we've seen are exactly that. It's whatever their motive is, obviously drove them to buy a firearm, but they're not going to ranges and training. They're watching YouTube videos of other people that have the same fucking mindset of doing ridiculous shit with a firearm. It's just wild. And I don't think I agree. I don't think, it's like you said, a lot of these instances occur in areas where you're not able to carry.
Where the law-abiding citizens are not going to be carrying.
And the crime rate in cities where you can't get a concealed permit or you can't carry a firearm, it may be less than, let's say, a Texas or a Chicago where you can own firearms, but it's not significantly less by abolishing the ability to carry a firearm. I don't see the numbers supporting that getting rid of firearms altogether has made some sort of drastic improvement on safety in society.
No. In fact, I mean, you can look at crimes committed with someone using a firearm in Houston, Texas, or Dallas, Texas. None of those pale in comparison to a city like.
I mean, look to the UK.
None of those pale in comparison to a city like New York.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. In Europe, people get stabbed because they don't have guns.
Yeah, like, nobody's getting shot because they don't have guns. Shooting. But there's still very violent crimes happening.
Don't be mistaken. There is still gun. There are still people that have.
Yeah,
firearms,
they were classically trained by the Queen's Army.
You don't hear about them. No,
it's just like New York City. It's not legal, but they can carry it. They'll find them.
A criminal is going to be a criminal. A criminal is going to be a criminal. They don't care about the law.
Yeah.
So the only ones you're hurting.
Chances are, if you own a fire alarm in one of those states where you can't, or cities where you can't carry it, it's. Your criminal background wouldn't allow you to buy one in a state that does allow it. It's bullshit. I don't like all the comparisons and the numbers that come out. They don't track the change in crime. So sure, gun violence may have gone down because you made stricter, harsher requirements to purchase a firearm, but nobody's tracking, stab incidents. They're not tracking the other ways that violent crime can happen. So it looks good on paper that, gun violence is down, but you also need to look at the other side of the river at the alternate crimes that are taking place as a result. It's just like before weed was legalized in all these states. It was still there. Everybody knew it. It just wasn't legal. And did that fucking stop anybody? No. They just found an alternate way to get it.
So, I mean,
I'm just we want to chat GPT some stuff. So the U.S. accounted for 76% of the mass shootings in the world, compared to the 30 countries, if you want to say like Europe has little small countries or whatever.
Yeah.
The other 35 countries together had 35 incidents in that same period.
That doesn't account for genocide and things like that, where you have tyrannical governments just killing.
And this was
such a skewed number.
This was 3 years ago.
Right,
so it's actually gotten worse. But yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it now. I mean, we're
you can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle.
No, you're right. I agree.
Europe.
I agree.
Europe has less guns. They had less guns the whole time. It's not like we can poof. We're Europe now. It's the guns are there.
But you got to think about it. They don't have free speech over there. I mean, they actually
don't have freedom over there. Right. We're free.
No, I mean we're free. We're genuinely free.
God-given right to have the Second Amendment. We're free.
Right.
We're free to shoot each other. Right. That's literally what this is. And I don't want to be real political about it, but straight up, like, as much as I appreciate, and it's raw. If we're recording this the day that there was a political like assassination, I don't know when this is going to come out, but I mean, that he has said himself that being shot is the price you pay to have the freedom of the Second Amendment
Right.
in the United States. Like those casualties are the price that you pay for freedom. And he paid the ultimate price. That's what we signed up for. That's what this is. That's what the United States is. Freedom.
No, it's the risk of being shot.
Put yourself. If you
I
argue,
don't think anyone would say, "All right, do you want to keep the Second
shot.
Amendment or not?" And if you do, there's a likelihood. Yeah, nobody's saying that, but
the more inherent risk because we like the freedom of freedom, whether it's I mean, you go to Seattle, Washington, or some of these. There's states that are so obsessed with freedom, ironically, in some cases or whatever. But like they just any drug you want, you can do. You have the freedom to take drugs and have a gun.
Philly has like a whole sanctioned part of the city where it's like, do whatever drug you want. We're not going to arrest you.
Might as well do it where we can see you so you don't die.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we just after, not long after Jasper was born, we went to Washington and we were going to some little market or like little flea market over there in downtown Seattle. And literally saw some dude just snorting cocaine off the concrete. It was fucking wild in broad daylight. So, but you know, no, they want you to have the freedoms to snort cocaine and take opioids, but no, they don't want you to have firearms.
I mean, let's look at Canada recently. One of their prime ministers came out and basically said, right, because they don't have the Second Amendment there. And they basically came out and said, like, if a homeowner or somebody comes into your house, just let them do whatever. Could you imagine a governor, a politician in the U.S. just saying, yeah, just let anybody come on into your house. No big deal. Just let them take whatever, do whatever. No, dude, that would never fly here.
No, the only thing that governments do whenever they do shit like that is turn law-abiding citizens into outlaws.
Well, they're telling you to call the police. Okay. Look, ask AI what the average police response time is.
Jazz bands in the crosswalk, and me walking down Main Street with a plate of ribs in one hand and a root beer float in the other. That's liberty, nephew. That's how we do.
Eat glizzies. Ask AI what the what did I just ask? What the average police response time is in the United States?
That's liberty, nephew. That's how
I bet you it's 8 minutes plus.
Okay, I got you. Average rate of response. What state?
Yeah. Any state across the entire U.S.
That's a skewed number. I want like individual states.
No, because I'd argue that any state is below that average.
No, I bet you some states.
I mean, I'm by no means giving the blue shit. I fully support our first responders.
You're counting on people. Like you got to have the right people in that position that actually fucking jump.
No, it's not about that though. I mean, I live in a county that has plenty of staff, but the response time is still that I've seen on serious crimes is still ridiculous. It's not. I don't think it's that the first responders aren't willing to. I don't think it's incompetence. I just think it's not physically possible to be in that much.
That's a good point. I like
so
that.
I looked up a stat for Austin, Texas. The average police response time in March of this year was 11 minutes and 39 seconds.
Your family's dead. Somebody kidnapped your kid, kidnapped your wife.
Here you go. I got a worse number. Okay, so median police response time to an active shooter is an active shooter. It says on a data set of 51 active shooter events for which response times were available, the median response time was 3 minutes. That's impressive to me a little bit, but 3 minutes, dude.
You gotta define active shooter though. Are we talking the school calls it in? Or are we calling
3 minutes is a lifetime with an active shooter?
Yeah.
So then the average incident duration versus response. Many active shooter incidents are over before or just around law enforcement arrival. Some sources say 14 to 15 minutes for police to arrive in many cases, while incident durations are often about 19 minutes. So the duration of the shooting is 19 minutes, and it takes them 14 minutes to get there in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So that's to your point.
So here in my hometown, priority 1 calls, which is life-threatening emergency, and mind
It
you,
says 3 minutes.
we're in a relatively bigger town. However, it size-wise, it pales in comparison to Houston, Dallas, or Austin. But 5 to 10 minutes, that's a lot can go down in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
So-
liberty, nephew.
I
That's
mean,
how we do.
let's be honest. By the time you realize somebody's coming into your house, they're either already in it or they're close to getting in it. It doesn't take much to kick in a front door, let alone a bedroom or closet door where you're trying to take refuge. I'm not going to gamble on the fact that a first responder is going to show up.
No, I've always said law enforcement, they have that whole protect and serve thing. I think that's always been misconstrued.
Yeah. People think they can just poof and show up.
Their law enforcement, they can't necessarily prevent crimes from happening.
Yeah.
They don't really protect you.
And they
in
don't
that
have a
sense.
crystal ball.
Right. So it is entirely up to you as a father, as a husband, to work with whatever means you have to protect yourself and your family. So I'm 100% behind someone being able to use a firearm. So we've just looked up a few stats, and even in my little old small town, it takes 5 to 10 minutes, and I live right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't leave the safety of my family in the balance with law enforcement.
Yeah. And I just want to make it clear, I'm not knocking law enforcement by any means. I think their primary role is,
you said it's not possible.
It's traffic stops, right? It's domestic disturbances. It's okay, we had somebody steal some shit from our store, come out and write up a report. I think that's honestly their primary duty, and you just can't expect them to be everywhere all at once. I don't care how big your police force is, how much money is dumped into it. You cannot have enough police force to give me peace of mind that when I need help, it's going to be there in time. And when I say when I need help, I'm talking a life or death situation where if they do not arrive by X minutes, somebody's in my house taking a life. There is nothing in the world that you could present me that would convince me to be okay with that.
Here's a little bit of and I've gone here mentally, because mentally for me, unfortunately, becomes statistically. But like the thought of, and this is why I strategically will try to not live somewhere where there's a severely high rate of crime.
Right. I don't think anyone. Graciously wants to live there, right?
No, especially when you have kids and stuff like that. But I'm saying you strategically pick something that statistically does not have a high rate of crime, and then you bet on the statistical fact that if somebody comes into your house and you are there, whether you die, they die, whatever goes down, their life is over. They just did breaking and entering with people home. They are going to jail for a very, very long time. So they have to be really fucked up. Statistically, it's highly unlikely that even the drugged out fucking fentanyl crazy is going to go into your house when he knows that you're there. That's where I take pause with the gun safety aspect. Like, that is a very low probability thing, in my personal opinion. Very low.
Not low enough.
So and to some degree, I'll agree with you on to some degree.
You're fucked, man. You go into somebody's house. Fuck.
I live in a smaller town, right? And you don't hear about big news stories like mass shootings or so and so being
Until it happens.
right. You don't hear about it as frequently, but it does happen.
Sure.
I've got friends in law enforcement that can tell me about shit that happens.
It's
within a block of
2025.
my
People
house.
don't know what gender they are. Everything that could possibly happen happens right now in this world
Right.
that we're in.
But
Statistically, that's very, very unlikely. That's all I'm saying.
right. While I agree. However,
I don't want to be.
if you have not heard this saying, then you ought to listen to it now. It is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I do sell cars. You think I don't say that 5 times a day?
Shit. Well,
I'm trying to sell fucking warranty, man.
yeah.
I go straight to the. I go to the top shelf for Mama keeps the peanut butter, and I had the porno. You know what I'm saying? Right up there.
I mean, but
That's the top
I
shelf
actually,
now.
I mean, I firmly and religiously believe that it's better. I hope to
Hell
the
yeah.
good Lord above that I never have to use it in a self-defense capacity.
I think
But
I'm gonna
bet
have
your
to bite
ass,
the
I am
bullet.
fully prepared to do so.
I think I would have to bite the bullet now. So since I sold the house, which maybe we talked about that in the last episode, but I will have an apartment. I do. I mean, I have to discuss that. I mean, when you move county to in Massachusetts, I don't know. I have an LTC.
Not unless they have a clause that in your contract
Right.
that tells you
So I have an
have to.
LTC. I think I'm going to be very serious about getting a proper lockbox and having a firearm close to my bed for the sake of a small apartment like that. In a more high, and it's actually pretty safe relatively. The town that I'm going to, it's more about like people getting drunk in the streets than actual like shootings.
Yeah.
So again, like unlikely somebody's going to come in and try to shoot me. Like I get it. I sell cars. I've probably taken money that didn't belong to me in some weird way on a car deal, but I don't think anyone's shooting me for that. I really don't. Like I feel that's a high that you don't want to you want to be able to protect yourself. But I've always fallen back on, and it's just like pixie dust in my brain, but I just feel the idea of somebody coming in your house armed, knowing you're home. And again, maybe they didn't know you're home, so that's how that happened. But like, very unlikely that they know you are there.
People, dude,
you sleep at your house every night.
People are desperate,
People under
man.
the influence.
We're clamping.
Yes.
We're clamping
believe
down
me.
on. Dude, we're
Believe
clamping
me, I
down
get
on
it.
requirements for food
They're
stamps.
shooting the dogs in Springfield.
We're,
I know.
We're clamping down for, requirements to get assisted living, to get government funding. Everything. Things are getting more expensive. I think you're going to see an uptick this holiday season, dude. People,
Desperate people
Yeah,
resort to things that you wouldn't think that they would do otherwise.
and the
And I'm sorry,
desperation's
if
only going to
somebody's
get
under the
worse.
influence-
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry. While some crackhead may not break into your home with the intent to shoot you, but who's to say that this crackhead isn't some pervert and has a thing for kids? Or
I do. I mean, I've always
whatever the case may
had a very solid baseball bat next to my bed. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, but
my point is if you make the mistake of coming into my home, you will not walk out.
that's a fact.
No,
That's
I
a
don't.
fact.
I don't give a shit.
And in
I- no,
Massachusetts, I'm done if I kill somebody that comes in my house. Which I mean, not really. I just have to prove that they were crazy and it's self-defense. But I mean,
Which can be
here in the
tough.
state of Texas, all
it
you
can
gotta
be.
do-
Yeah.
Here in
We
the
got
state,
good lawyers here.
here
I
in the
understand.
state of Texas, all you have to do is make sure they're facing.
Yeah. Well, Colorado,
If they break in-
and that's the
if they
same
break
thing,
into
man.
your home,
Colorado's got to
If
make
they break into
make
your
my
home, that's it.
Colorado's got to make my day. If they're on your property and they're facing you, that's it. Like that. They're very, and unfortunately,
That's the fucking way it should be, though.
but that
Exactly.
there's a balancing act because when
How?
that is the
How?
law,
If you
because that
step
just
foot,
means it's a little easier.
like
for,
I'm not saying
other
you need to
things.
drive a quarter mile down the road to your gate and shoot somebody that pulled in because they didn't know where the fuck they're going. But if somebody kicks my fucking front door in or enters my house without my permission, tell me
But it's
why
not
in
even
the
the door, right?
wide
Colorado,
fucking
it's just your
world
property.
should I not be able to do whatever the fuck I feel I need to do with you? It shouldn't matter if I see you
hear me
carrying a
out.
firearm or a bat. If I feel like you are threatening my fucking safety and you have no I did not invite you. You show up.
Right.
You didn't call me. You're not some government agent or, public servant of some kind. I should not have to worry about, oh, are they really here to hurt me? I should not have to think about that. If you are on my fucking property, entering my home, I should never have to defend the reason I fucking lit your ass up. Never.
Look,
Entering your home.
your rights end where mine begin. So if you step into my home, you have infringed upon my rights to protect infringed on my rights and my property and my
no good
my
reason
home.
For you to be in the house.
You have.
Well, give me what's a good reason? There is no good reason.
There is rights to live.
There isn't.
Yeah.
You have forfeited your right to live once you step foot into my home.
Right.
Now, and I'll go one step further. If I have warned you to get off my property, even if it's in my front yard, if I have told you to get off my property,
that's where I want to go with the conversation.
At nighttime, I can legally shoot.
In Texas and in Colorado, that is true. So that's where I have a problem. I don't have a problem with the theory because there's no reason for that person
what normal
to be
human
on your
being
property.
in their right mind wouldn't just say, I'm sorry, Mr. JT, I shouldn't be here, and just fucking leave?
No. So that's not the law, though. So JT already shot that guy. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying.
Like, that guy,
if I ask you to get the fuck off my property,
if you're drugged, if you're drugged the fuck out,
is that my fucking fault? I didn't shoot your veins up with whatever the fuck you're on.
No, but as a human being, the guy was not.
I'm not going to sympathize with you.
Drugged out.
I don't care.
No, I certainly wouldn't sympathize. But they're dead.
If you're on my property, and you don't believe there, I believe you're there for only one intent, and that is to take what is mine. And I am the guy that will protect my property.
Some people have really big properties. I mean, there's loopholes to everything. You're like, so if a gang,
that's what I'm saying. I don't say you absolutely.
Part of my property.
Yeah, I don't think JT's kicking his front door out and running out into the yard and just guns blazing. I feel like JT would say, "Hey, what the fuck you doing? Get out of here." But I don't blame JT if he does just run out there, blasting shots off.
No,
at
nighttime.
I don't think I would if it didn't matter, man. I'm scared shitless. I don't know.
No, at nighttime. At nighttime specifically, I don't have to have any other reason but to see you in. No, and that's how it should be. I don't have to go through the thought process of being in my yard in the middle of the night.
Listen, your neighbor's got Alzheimer's. He don't know what yard he's in.
Well, he knows Mr. Mike that lives next door, so.
No, dude, he's got Alzheimer's. I started with that. He doesn't know where he is. He just walked into
that's what I'm saying. I feel like if JT has a neighbor with Alzheimer's, he's going to know he has a neighbor with Alzheimer's. And he's going to recognize Bob Joe from next door in his yard.
My grandma was Alzheimer's, got in the car and drove fucking a quarter mile up the road and is now wandering in so-and-so's yard because her friend Faye used to live there 47 years ago. I'm just saying I'm not saying accidents don't happen.
I'm just saying you shouldn't have to think about it.
I don't need to shoot you just because you're in my yard. If you're in my yard, I think that's very, very bad. But you should at least have the right to hear a loud noise and fucking book it,
right?
As opposed to just getting shot.
You also there's a human aspect there, right? You can tell if there's a 70-year-old man in your yard because he has dementia and doesn't know where he is, versus some tweaker that pulled up in a busted ass hoopty that's trying to take shit off your property or out of your home. You can tell certain things, and you got to use a little process of elimination. But I still don't think
you're trusting human beings to make decisions.
I mean,
I don't know.
Listen, dude, people work hard for their property and the things they have on it and their families.
It's fair. It's fair. That's my only concern would be I personally, and it's kind of like we can loop it all back to teaching your children how to handle a firearm. But I think it would be important if I was, and JT, I want your take on this. Like, if you're teaching your child to hunt, do you think it's important that they carry whatever they shot? Like, they need to carry that back. They need to understand the life, like what happened.
Well, of course, absolutely, 100%. But I also believe in using discretion. So I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and pull the trigger up the second I see a shadow in my yard. So
Right.
please don't be under that impression. I'm not an idiot. However,
you're certainly not. You're a very responsible gun owner.
If I feel that my property is in jeopardy, that for something that I worked my butt off to get, I am within my right to act in accordance. So if I feel obviously I have lights in my yard, so they'll automatically kick on whenever motion picks up.
That was your chance to get the fuck out, dude. Like, that's
absolutely. So
that's
I
true.
Not everybody thinks like me. I get that, but at the same time, there is a way to be a responsible gun owner, a law-abiding citizen while owning a gun, and I'll encourage all fathers here. If you don't know anything about firearms, take some time to learn your gun laws. Take some time to get familiar with firearms. Like Nick said, go to a gun range. Oftentimes you can get a loaner. You can shoot. Get yourself familiar with it. And then understand that it is the great equalizer. No matter how outmatched you are, you stand a significant chance of surviving whatever ordeal it is if you have a firearm. You stand a better chance of protecting your spouse, your children. It's something to think about. Don't be afraid of.
I'll take you a step further, and I know there's a dad podcast, so we've been talking about dads and we've been talking about our kids. Your wife is another one though, or your spouse or your girlfriend, whatever.
I didn't shoot her. I didn't shoot her.
But
we got divorced.
No, dude. I mean,
yeah,
so,
man. There's some fucked up laws with that too.
But they need no. I mean, they need to be trained as well. They need to know how to be safe with it, and I know a lot of women are maybe intimidated by guns, or definitely probably intimidated by men with guns. And something cool
when they're not though. Like the girls I see on these dating apps, they're not intimidated by guns. That's hot.
Yeah,
when they're shooting
but they do. I mean, they offer things like ladies' nights at gun ranges where it is nothing but women. It is a woman range master with them.
I'm listening.
And that's what ours do. It's only women that can go there, and that gets them around other women. They can be a little more relaxed. They don't feel intimidated by all this masculinity around them. But I just want to throw that in there.
But they got a gun.
We're talking about dads and gun safety and kids, but don't forget the wife either. There's no reason she can't conceal carry or learn how to shoot firearms, and she can do it in a safe, comfortable environment, whether that's you taking her to a range and showing her the ropes, or whether it's, like I said, where you have a range that does a ladies' night where it's only women that can be there for that.
Hypothetically,
I mean, shit, this day and age, Jason, you could show up at a women's gun night and probably be okay. But but gun safety for your whole household is my point.
Yeah. And now I will say this, man. Don't if your wife's not on board or you hadn't talked it over, don't just go get a firearm and just try and pull it over and not even include her in on that decision.
You got problems if you don't know your spouse's stance on firearms. Y'all already got communication issues.
My wife, she owns a firearm. She knows how to use it. She's proficient, and she knows that it is used to stop the threat. I'll say this. If I didn't have the support of my wife, with me having a firearm in the home, then I probably wouldn't be able to have it in my home. So, and no matter how gung ho I am about it, it would never work between my wife and I if she were not on the same page. So
it's not something you just buy and hide away.
To me, the longer you're married, the less amenable they are to you pulling it out. So that's actually true.
No, so I'll encourage
Nick is like, get the fuck
off my Captain show. Jokes over here.
But I'll encourage men that don't have firearms, that don't know much about them. Include your spouse or your significant other on that decision and choice and the journey to figure it out. so that there's less fear, because the biggest threat to someone is fear. So explore that together.
Don't pull it out when she's scared.
Bro, shooting range is fun. Okay? I'm just saying.
That's right. Get her around other women and then pull it out.
Well, you can do that, or you can take her. I mean, dude, a firearm, man, it's not just it's not a security blanket. It's not self-defense. Dude, going to the range, man, it's mentally just being there and firing a firearm. It can do a lot of things for you. And I'm not talking about the guy that's just had the world's shittiest day and goes there to, let off some steam. It can do all kinds of things for you, man. It can help you focus. It can help you block out, whatever kind of stupid shit you got going on throughout your day. It can do a lot of things and a lot of positive things, despite all the negative things that surround them. It just depends on what media source or, who you're following on Facebook as far as what you're going to get fed about them. But I don't disagree that there's negatives and positives to our gun policy in the United States. But I also, it's your right. I will never support anybody that even if I was 100% anti-gun, firearm, never would I vote in the hopes that we would take that right away from somebody that believed in it. I just think that's ridiculous.
That. And I'm pretty, I mean, I definitely don't like shootings, and I've never had guns, but I certainly I wouldn't want to do that because I just don't. I think the country it stands for something, and we just accept the consequences. And again, it's
but every day you see a bigger and bigger push to get them abolished in areas.
I want to see and we're 2 weeks into this. This may be a very poignant time in the history of our country that this episode comes out. I would like to see what the reaction is to somebody who was outwardly for gun rights.
It's going to be we need stricter gun control, regardless of how.
No. That's not what I mean. Are you
talking about Charlie Kirk?
Are you going to see acts of violence in the street because people think that the rapture is now coming? I do think that there is an aspect where people are seeing this as he didn't do anything wrong and he was a good person who, spoke the word of Jesus Christ or whatever else. I think people are very, very scared, and you could see some acts of violence in the streets as a retaliation.
I don't see it as retaliation, but I think it's going to lead people to be much more vigilant.
Yeah.
There is a lot of fear, and again, fear creates chaos. However, chaos is something that you yourself should never try and control. So this is again my point on firearms. There are many things that you cannot control. What you can do is go and get a firearm so that you can control your immediate surroundings, gain some situational awareness, and you have a better chance of protecting yourself. The incident with Charlie Kirk, it pisses. But I have seen many disgusting things come from it. You see politicians immediately before the body's cold pushing for more gun control, like it's going to make a difference where criminals are involved. I have seen people celebrating his death. I have seen people, sad and scared and fearful for what may happen to them because they may share the same. All I'm saying is fear creates chaos, and fear does stand a chance of breeding violence. So it's possible. It's very possible. However, what you can do as a father is work your ass off to protect you and yours. So that's all
you gotta do. Be aware. Don't sit next to that motherfucker that already looked like trouble when she sat down in front of him in the train. Just be the fuck aware.
Even if she was going to girls' night.
Yeah, I'm not gonna poke fun at her because that shit sucked. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But
you talking about the young lady that was stabbed? You talking about the young lady that was stabbed?
Yeah, on the Charlotte train.
I don't know. I was not going there.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was talking about.
And there are men that stood there and watched that.
Well, so we should have got into that earlier, because that's a whole nother thing I said this whole goddamn time is, in my right mind, I don't care whether I saw it happen or not. Those people knew something happened. Nobody even checked on her. Nobody said a word to her. They all got up one by one and walked to a different train car. Like, how did we get to this? Is my question. Everybody's quick to voice an opinion online, but when something happens in reality, nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to take action.
But real fear is the kid is in you as a child. It's self-preservation. Real fear is you're so high strung, you're so ramped up on the world that we exist in, the society we've created, that when something like unusual happens, you fucking book it. You get the fuck out of Dodge. That's what you do. Not everybody does that. No, I don't know. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody reacts to situations differently. Everybody processes information at different speeds. I think that there are a lot. I'd say the majority of people would react with like, "Let me get the fuck out of here." Like whatever.
But
it
nobody
is,
nobody knew what happened. Is the thing. They just saw that she was in distress, and everybody just got up and left.
It's because in our current state, we're a nation of cowards. People just see something and their first instinct is either to book it or record it online.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to intervene. I'm sorry. First and foremost, my concern is the safety of my family and myself.
Right.
But that does not mean that I'm just going to sit there and watch some bullshit happen like that.
No. You would
there's absolutely
probably tell your kids and wife to get the fuck out, and then at least investigate.
Exactly.
But we're running out of actual decent humans. I do think that's
that's my
the
point.
Message of life right now. But
the most evil thing a good man can do is sit there and do nothing while bad shit happens to everybody else.
Exactly. Be a witness to evil.
So,
but people people aren't raised that way. Everybody's so scared of stepping on somebody's toes or offending somebody or whatever the fuck it may be. It's scary, man. Like, I cannot imagine how you have to be raised to just be able to ignore that. And Charlotte's not a bad city. So I don't even buy the argument that it's a tough city. It's not New York. It's not the New York subway where everybody's just going about their business and minds their own. It's fucking Charlotte.
It's not fucking Chicago. It's not fucking Chicago.
Exactly.
I mean,
hey, I rode a train on the north side of Chicago. It was simply lovely. I went to the baseball game.
And for most people it is, unless you're looking for trouble or purposefully putting yourself in a troublesome situation.
If you want to ride the train to the south side of Chicago with a man named Leroy Brown, I mean, it's not going to go well for you down there. And that's coming from the whitest guy you know. But I understand, like, Chicago inner cities, Roxbury, Massachusetts, Brooklyn, New York, like there is an underbelly of bad areas, and you have to like chip away.
But that goes back to self-awareness. Don't put yourself in that kind of situation to begin with.
Well, 100%. And I think we can also agree that there are many people that just don't have other options.
True.
No, and they are trapped.
But here's the thing. If there were more legal gun owners that could responsibly carry, while I cannot say that it will stop all violence, but it is a damn good deterrent. It is a damn good deterrent, and even then you can mitigate the damage. Look, when acts of violence,
speaking of gun safety, what was the state that just authorized educational employees to carry a firearm?
Texas is working on
That
that.
would be
No, there was a-
that would be Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, right? Yeah, okay.
I'm completely guessing.
No,
If that's
it's a
true,
Midwest state.
gotta be
It's a
Oklahoma.
Midwest state, but they
Well,
just authorized the teachers
Alabama or
to carry.
Oklahoma, 100%.
In the state of Texas right now, and this has been an ongoing thing, but it's still technically in the pilot phase. But they actually have a program that they call the Guardian Program, where certain, not all, but certain teachers have license to carry.
Yeah.
A license to carry, and they do. They undergo certain safety courses, everything like that.
I'm all for it.
And they carry firearms.
And they need to treat
There
it
are resource
like the
police
Air
officers.
Marshal
There are
program,
resource
where
police.
very
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
motherfuckers on that plane know who it is to keep the
Exactly.
safety aspect
and that's
of it.
the case.
Listen,
That's entirely the case in a lot of schools here in
Yeah.
Texas.
I don't see a problem with that.
So,
the state,
absolutely.
the state which passed a law in April of 2024 allowing teachers to carry concealed handguns with permission was the state that Elvis Presley resided in.
Tennessee,
yeah.
okay.
Tennessee.
I was gonna say I thought it was Tennessee, but I wasn't sure.
But yeah,
Tennessee.
Texas has been doing it for a while. But yeah, Tennessee just recently did it.
Elvis loved a good
And-
gun. He did.
And I personally, I don't give a shit what state it is. They should all should do it.
It's an equalizer. It is a something that you have to put time and thought into.
Well,
And
that's
I
the thing.
think
I'm
that
sure they have
we-
very stringent checkup policies as far as mental and physical health. I'm sure they have very stringent policies about the
Yep.
training
I
required.
don't have a problem with the theory of it. I don't have a problem. Although
It's putting it
I
into action.
I would love to take every single teacher who was qualified for that program and to put them in a simulation that they don't know about and just see how accurate or
There
or
was that too.
like that, that's important to me because there's a moment where the good ideas go to hell. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I think we can all agree range time does not equate
There
to
you
life
go.
experience.
Right.
I think we can all agree on that.
But it
whenever
does
you're at
better
that range,
prepare you.
Targets don't shoot back. Targets don't shoot back.
If you're not in the
But-
military, I
but it does.
don't think you can justify that you're ever going to get real world accurate experience.
It's like anything else, like playing guitar on a stage.
You can come close.
Or you have to do you got to do your 10,000 hours to be able to do something like a professional when the pressure's on. Like you got to shoot basketballs until your hands hit golf balls till your hands bleed and shoot balls until the end of the night to make that shot.
the other
Like,
problem
it's-
is you used to have mob mentality that people would follow, right? If people saw some shit going down, you'd have 10, 15, 20 people attacking whatever aggressor for whatever they were doing. Now everybody just fucking runs, and we train you to
You
run.
fucking see that is when a cop is doing their fucking
Yeah.
job. Now the only time you see that is when a cop is doing his fucking job, and you have people wanting to interfere.
But listen, JT, I think what changes that dynamic is the great equalizer that a gun is and how powerful guns are in this day.
In the right hand.
I don't care. There is no mob mentality. There's no human being that their instinct when someone has a loaded gun is to tackle that guy. You have to go
I
above and
disagree.
beyond.
I disagree. They're out there.
It's got to be a circumstance where you're behind them and you think you got a clear shot and you're thinking rationally. If someone's got a gun, dude, I'm getting the fuck down.
But that's you. But there's legitimately people out there that feel they were put on this earth to protect
Again,
somebody.
I want to see the simulation. I want to take every teacher
They're gonna run.
that has been exactly. So that's my concern.
But I didn't know we were talking about teachers. I thought we were talking about human beings
teachers
in general.
Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
No, teachers in Tennessee. So it gets dicey, and this is the longest episode we'll ever fucking run. But
you're never going to see that kind of action from a teacher for the pay they get.
No. What? No. That's not about it. That's not what it is.
I'm not saying it's all about
not
pay.
about pay.
I'm just saying
It's
teachers
about
are already
instinct
put through the
and
fucking
not-
ringer for what they're paid. Now you're asking them to come
No.
out into a hallway and potentially take a bullet to stop.
No, I
It's just not
disagree
going to
with that.
happen.
I think there are some teachers at those schools in Tennessee that would die for those kids, and they will fucking go out there and they will start shooting. I think that when you put it's like a certain breed of a teacher, whether it's in this state or any other state, like those are children. There's like
that's human beings in general.
25 to 30 children in there that you've known the entire year. If you are of a right mind and you don't succumb to the pressure of the moment, I think that they would lay their life on the line for those kids.
I'm not saying they don't exist, but I know I like to think when I drop my son off that his teacher treats him as she would her own child every day, and that's my best hope.
I met some great
some
teachers.
Do, not
life.
all.
We all do.
Not all.
Some do, yeah. Not all.
Of course not.
However, so I will say this, Jason, think about it, man. If you do not have a firearm, all right, and you
I got this
have
sweet apartment. Look at that.
You have somebody perceived as a threat.
It smells of rich mahogany.
Guess what you're doing first? Guess what you're doing first? You're calling somebody with a firearm, whether it be the police or you're calling a friend of yours that you know. Right. So
that's what we should call this episode.
Yeah.
The Great Equalizer. The Great Equalizer.
So that's just something to think about.
We should run this as episode 100. The Great Equalizer.
I will. No, but speaking of running, anybody have any closing statements? Because it's been a long episode, but it's been an interesting and fun topic.
Snoop does, but why don't you wrap it up and I'll let him. No, you
no more Snoop. No, that's it.
I want to do like a little namaste.
Yeah, sorry if you guys previously.
Very good episode. I think we could do a part 2 with other people.
Yeah.
This is a very important topic.
No,
and JT, I think we got through it very well. I don't think that this was a problem.
No. I think we did try, and I think
it's important.
We touched on. Well, no, it is. And no matter how much you try and avoid politics, I'm sorry, politics is directly dealing with the public, and we're talking to the public. So
nobody actually agree with us. Involved. I encourage anybody who thinks.
We're like 3 white guys with fucking beards. These guys are from Virginia. I'm the only like free voice from the north up here, but I really, honestly, no one has to agree with anything we do on this show. This is our fucking fun time. Like, I love talking to you guys about all of this. I've from the beginning of the inception of the podcast when I was welcomed in here. I love talking to you guys, talking to guys from different parts of the country. We got people here that work in government positions. We got guys that believe in pixie dust and paper rectangles in New York City. We have like a perspective here, and everybody has the same beard. I can't deny it, but we
what's up, Joe? Joe doesn't have a beard, does he?
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, he's got it's a little bit of peach fuzz.
He does his best. Just like he's got pixie dust paper rectangle beard too. Yeah, and he doesn't but I'm gonna before, if it's the last thing I do as a human, Joe's gonna get tired of that big old truck he's driving, and he's gonna get himself another Subaru, and he's gonna come crawling down. You don't
just go from a truck back to a Subaru.
His wife will get another Subaru.
Maybe. All right. Well, no, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know, there's a lot of differing opinions on the topics we just talked about. And
important.
Hopefully, if you liked us before, you still like us, and we didn't drive anybody away. But just know the next episode. I mean, we talk about the same kind of shit every week, and we try to bring you however many different opinions and views and vantage points that we can from our different stances on things. And this just happened to be a relevant episode in light of recent events in the U.S. So. I know it's a tough topic for a lot, and please know not all of our episodes are, get kind of this in depth with things that can be construed as political or not political. But it was a good episode, and I enjoyed talking about it. And Jason, I'm glad you spoke up about that. Regardless of how I felt going into it, I think we we are always good at bringing a balance to the conversation, and it's good. It's normal human behavior to be able to have a conversation without, trying to lop each other's heads off because we butt heads or don't agree.
Meaningful discourse is what I was taught that was community college that taught me that, and I never liked school, but I heard that term. And this motherfucker, he was like, write your papers. If you use the word discourse, the more you use it, the better grade you're gonna get. And I took that to heart, and he was fucking British. And that is so important because words are everything. But to have a meaningful discourse with a brother,
and we managed to do that
argument with a motherfucker. There's like language is like.
We managed to have that meaningful discourse, as you so eloquently put it, and not shoot each other whenever we have a difference of opinion. And yes, that was a fucking fun.
I think adults just forget that you can disagree with your neighbor and still be friends at the end of the day. You can talk about, it's okay to talk about things. It's when people start hiding, behind.
Don't talk about Bruno.
I encourage it, and I don't think people do it enough anymore. And I think people are just so bullheaded that they don't want to listen to anything else, and they just immediately shut down and go on the defense, and it just becomes a bash fest. And that's why I like this episode. We've never censored anybody on here. No. You guys can speak. I've never asked you to not say anything. We may have said, we'd like to try and keep this politically neutral. Yeah, exactly.
One waterboarding a show does not make.
I think the only thing we've done is during the election time, I think we discussed as a whole just to try and
we don't want to piss anybody off.
Keep it politically neutral. And other than that, you guys don't censor me. I don't censor you. So exactly what you guys hear is what the fuck somebody wanted to say. And I think that's what makes this show valuable. And nobody's here is shy to speak up, and nobody here feels like we're going to be judged because we may have a different opinion or belief on something. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. I know it was a little bit of a touchy subject for some, but we appreciate you sticking. And it was a longer one, but we appreciate you guys sticking around for it.
Like and subscribe, you bitch.
Come leave us some comments. Let us know your thoughts, your ideas. Come hang out with us on the Facebook group and chat with us. And is Snoop Dogg really talking some more? Do we have more Snoop?
Hey, that's it.
Snoop's going to close us out.
JT, Nick, and my man Jason holding it down on Time to Dad. Gun safety, life lessons, and straight up dad wisdom. Now, if y'all excuse me, I gotta bounce. My fantasy team drafted a goldfish as quarterback, and I think he just fumbled the fish full. Faux shizzle, I'm out.
We're out.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.